Andersen tror jag är Thomas Ankarabande gol! Bollen San Diego!
Hello and welcome into the official SDFC podcast. I'm Kaila Byrne-Sefner here with Marvell Wynn and Sal Zizzo for episode 12 of the official SDFC podcast.
You know, it's glad to be back with the trio again.
Yeah, welcome back.
Thank you.
Did you have a good trip?
I had a great trip. Thanks for holding it down.
Yeah.
You guys had an awesome episode. It was great to hear some more insight on Marvell and Sal.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of their backgrounds. I'm really glad that they got to share that with you guys.
It was fun.
And yeah, it was fun. It's good to be back.
Awesome.
And great to be back. Top of the Western Conference. And as the MLS announced today, number one in the MLS power rankings for the first time, I believe.
No, who would have thunk it? You know, in the beginning of the year, obviously, in all fairness, I myself didn't know what to expect. I mean, expansion sides, I've been a part of them. I was in that Toronto side. I think we won a game. I'm not quite sure, but when it comes up for an expansion side, you don't know what you're going to get. And this team has kind of blown a lot of expectations out of the water. It's not the best expansion side that's come out in their first year, and honestly, the way that we look and the way we come together, I'd say it's definitely a benchmark for our future organizations.
Yeah, and all those guys, right? Dax McCarty, Sasha Kleshin, right? Saying that San Diego is going to finish dead last. I recently saw a post where they re-ranked, the teams that had the best chance at Supporters Shield. Mm-hmm. Dax had SDFC at number 1. Sasha had him at number 2.
Hey.
My former Red Bull guys. I'm gonna even throw in Bradley Wright Phillips, all my Red Bull guys, all you pundits over there at MLS saying San Diego is gonna be last. No, I'm messing with you guys, but wow. I mean, what a transition, what a way to prove, not just them, but like I'm sure, 90% of people, the majority, didn't have San Diego performing well this season, let alone being number 1 in the power rankings and on week 19, 20 or whatever it is.
And honestly, deserved. Like when you watch us play, we look like, they look like they're a solid team. They know what they're doing. It's not just, they got lucky here, they got lucky there. They have a couple players that, kind of show out every now and then. We actually look like a solid club.
Right, power rankings are based, on a lot of opinion as well as performance and results. But the fact that they're number 1 in the power rankings shows you that it's not just, an anomaly that they're at the top with their points. They're actually, deserve to be there and are expected now to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a lot of accolades that have occurred since the last time that we've all sat here together on the podcast. Shall we roll through them?
Let's do it.
First hat trick in club history, Milan Olaski versus Vancouver. 3 goals in 9 minutes, 4 in 12 minutes. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I know Sal is dying to talk about all of that. We also have now had the most players on Player of the Match Day for the league so far this season with 3, with Milan's most recent appearance after his 4-game goal against Vancouver. Dreyer, recently on Team of the Match Day for his performance against Dallas, now has 22 goal contributions on the season and is leading the league in assists.
MVP.
Wow.
Solid, man.
Also recently named to the MLS All-Star roster, along with Yefe Tverskov and Irving Lozano. 3 players on that team, which is, I believe, the most since Atlanta in their 2017. Most for expansion team since Atlanta on that 2017 season. And we also got a couple players that have been out on Gold Cup on international duty. And huge shout out to Anibal being the most capped player in Panama history. He hit that number with 148, played another game. They're out of the Gold Cup now, but it's an incredible accomplishment for a player to be able to represent your country that many times. And Luca De La Torre is still going with the U.S. men's national team, surviving a PK shootout.
What else?
Oh my gosh, is there anything else that could happen?
I don't know, but
well, we
incredible.
have 2 MLS starting debuts.
Yes.
With Manu Dua and Milan Olaski in his 4-game appearance.
Was that his first start?
Yeah.
Did he do well in that game?
So a couple of things have happened. Guys, what are your thoughts?
I love that it's spread throughout so many different players, by the way.
Yes.
This shows that our club is giving everybody opportunities to get out there and play and express themselves with almost nowhere. You go out there, you know what you have to do, you know your role, and you can succeed with the amount of guys or with the quality of guys that you have around you.
Yeah, and Marv and I in the last episode, we kind of went through our midseason MVPs, and I brought up Milan Olaski's name, and obviously he got that pod bump, so he played in the Vancouver game in his first start, and he gets 4 goals, and it's like, man, is he just like the most en fuego player in MLS at forward currently right now? He's scoring goals at a ridiculous rate. I have some interesting stats actually to pull up for you.
Give it to us.
Let's pull that up. So first off, he's got 2.13 goals per 90 minutes, which is double the amount than anyone in the league. And before the Dallas game, I think it was like triple the amount. So it went down, even though he had a great assist. Okay. But I also want to bring up, and this is an interesting point too, is like expected goals. And I'm scrolling down this list and I still have trouble finding him, but I know he's down there with expected goals, like, I don't know, maybe like 3 or something. I'd have to scroll to find this, but that's extremely low to his 9 goals, which goes to show you a lot of the goals he's scoring aren't easy. Like they're not expected to be goals, right? Like obviously he's expected to have 3 goals or something. He's got 9, right? And for context, like Sam Surridge, who's leading the league in goals this season, I think he has 15, right? His expected goals is 14. 14.5. So he's right there with where he should be, right? And so you look at Milan and it's like the finishing clinic he's been putting on is literally incredible. That first goal in Vancouver, that's out of nothing, right? Just receives a little ball, gets it to his left foot, strikes it, goalie makes a save, and then rebound, bang, goal. So like these goals he's scoring aren't just like tap-ins, right? Obviously, a few of the header, the flying header, maybe the third goal, which arguably could be, or the fourth goal, which could have been maybe his easiest. I don't know, but like easiest in what sense? I mean, what a great finishing display he's been putting on.
He scored rebounds, scored diving headers. He's dribbled across the whole field.
Yeah,
maybe so he can finish one-on-ones as well, and he finishes off crosses. The man knows he's doing it in the box, and outside the box. All around, on the pitch.
We kind of compared him to Wando a little bit, Marv and I. And, he has like prime Wando in him right now, where, physically he's not 35 scoring goals like Wando still did at that age. But like he's 24, 25 years old? I don't even know. 26?
Youngin.
He's in his prime. He's scoring goals when he's on the field. He looks like he's having a great time. Like in the city that he grew up in, like you couldn't ask for anything better. So I don't know what San Diego has to do to lock him in long term, but let's figure it out.
Yeah.
You brought up the point, obviously everyone knows that he's playing for his hometown club. You guys have both seen the videos of his family at the official watch party back in San Diego for that match. But really cool story coming out there. His whole family being able to celebrate with fans. They actually recorded a message that we were able to show him on the field right after the game. In his post-game press conference, he ends up saying this and just sharing his thank you to the fans for the support, for everything they've shown him since he's gotten here.
Support back home, and what does it mean for you?
Yeah, I'm so humbled by it. I think I don't deserve it, honestly, and the support since I got here, before the goals, before anything, it's truly so humbling for me, and I can't believe the supporters are constantly traveling, using their own money to come here and watch the matches, and they're chanting not just tonight but in other matches, and we're so grateful to them as a team. And then of course, like my family going back home to this thing, it makes me it gets me emotional, because I love my city, and I love my family very much, and it brings me a lot of pride to make them proud.
Scoring 4 goals in your first start against the top team in the West, and you're humbled by fans and the family showing love. I mean, that means a lot. I want to know now. I wish we asked, what's the celebration about? When he goes and he's so humbled, he's like, "Are you guys cheering for me? Why? Because I scored again." I'm kind of curious about what his celebration's about.
Yeah, we should.
You'll have to ask.
Yeah.
What would it be like for you guys if you were able to play for, like, say San Diego existed as a team when you were playing in your prime days, to be able to come back and play for your hometown?
Yeah, I mean, I got a sense of that a little bit when I was with Loyal, and I played with it, and I have an idea of the feelings and the emotions that he had, and it's hard to describe. It's like, and even as a soccer player, right? Like, if you have a big family or friends and base of people, and they pour all their support into you constantly, right? And they're, FaceTime you or showing you pictures after games, or, I had a few away games where I had in LA with some of my teams, and I had probably 25, 30 people and, cheering. And that stuff just kind of, like he said, it humbles you a little bit. And so I know where he's coming from. It's like almost like, I don't really deserve this, like he's performed so well and he's so grateful for like these moments that, because to him, he's one, just like any of them, just like any of his family members, but he's out there receiving all that support and to be performing so well and just, so many emotions. He's riding high right now at one of probably the peak, moments in his soccer career.
I mean, when we go out and play, the crowd kind of has, an impact on you one way or another. But there's just something about getting friends and family who know you more than just what your number is or the last name on the back of your shirt. So if I was able to just come back home to San Diego and play in front of my friends, family, people who basically, started my career, made me who I was, there's just that extra bump. I mean, it doesn't even matter the how loud the crowd is. Just knowing that your people are there, your blood is there. There's just an extra bar in the tank, and you just go so much further. And there's some that leads with more of your heart than just your mind or your feet at that point.
Extra like comfort level too, right? Knowing they're behind you, and like it's pretty cool to see that, like San Diego kid and getting all that support, and his family, wearing the jersey up in Escondido, watching the game. It's pretty sweet.
We're just so not jealous that they have this.
That's the word I'm just like waiting to say. Like, oh yeah,
that's what
awesome
I really wanted to ask.
Cool, Milan.
Well, also he mentioned, huge shout out to the supporting fans who went out and traveled to these matches. There were a huge contingency in Vancouver and in Dallas. So awesome turnout for the fans that traveled, as well as the fans that were showing up to not only the one in Escondido, but also the one in North Park, the Frontera, being able to showcase their love for this team and being able to celebrate together is awesome visuals to be able to see. Well, we're back at home this Saturday versus Houston. So we'll talk about that a little bit with our match preview presented by Alaska Airlines with assistant coach Frank Hjortebjerg. We're also going to talk to Onni Valakari. He has 2 assists on the road on this last trip. So, get to hear from him, get his little insight, and it'll be a good show.
As the official specialty insurance partner of San Diego FC, Palomar offers standalone earthquake insurance that protects property and peace of mind. It's crucial to be prepared. Visit plmr.com or contact your insurance agent for a quote. Palomar, reimagining specialty insurance with innovative, creative solutions.
Hey everybody, this is Darren Smith. I host a radio show called SDFC Midweek Live. You can hear it Wednesday nights, 6 o'clock on San Diego Sports 760 and anytime on the iHeartRadio app. Join me, Adrian Garcia Marquez, Warren Barton, SDFC players and staff. It's the only hour on local radio dedicated 100% to San Diego Football Club and the beautiful game.
San Diego, señoras y señores, tiene tiro de esquina. Minuto 68 de la parte complementaria. Puede venir el centro directo. ¡Atención,
All right, we're joined by midfielder Onni Valakari. Onni, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Really happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you.
Good to see you, man. You have one of the coolest names ever.
Thank you. My name actually means luck in Finnish.
No way.
Hey.
It just
Valakari?
Onni.
Onni?
Yeah.
Onni Valakari.
That's cool.
Love that even more now.
Yeah.
Lucky. A lot of Italians.
Yeah.
Lucky. Lucky Luciano. I don't know. It's probably some gangster back in the day. But.
All right, bring it back all the way to the beginning for us. When you first started playing soccer, how did your journey begin?
Actually, in Dallas, I started in like this neighborhood club. I think it was like 1-2 times a week. We got together in the park. I think I was like 4 or 5 years old. I think it's the photo that my mother put for the.
Yes, I was going to say we have a photo of this.
Yeah.
We'll share it on the podcast on the visual episode.
That was my team. So we played. It was a park close to me, so that's where I started. And after that, we went back to Finland. I just played in my neighborhood club. It's actually a Capella and Pallo. It's a really big youth club. They have a first team, but it's not like in the top league. But the academy that they have is probably one of the best in Finland. So I played there. It was my neighborhood club also, so that was really nice.
Is that in Helsinki?
Yeah, it's in Helsinki. It's like a small town in Helsinki. Okay. So all of my brothers, we were all playing there, and good times from that. So that's pretty much my like boyhood club. And after that, we moved to another city in Finland, Seinäjoki. These names are probably tough, but I played there from 13 to 17, 14 to 17 year old. And after that, I went and signed my first pro contract. It was in not the top league, one league below in Finland, the first division for TPS. We got promoted in my first year to the top league, so that was nice. And after that, I went to Norway, and then from Norway, I went to Cyprus to play. Then after Cyprus, I had a short time in Sweden, and then from Sweden, I came here. So pretty much all over the world. And also when I was young, because my father was playing football also, we were living all over the world. So most of my time, I haven't even lived in Finland. So yeah.
We have this picture here. We'll show it on the YouTube version of the podcast of you walking out with FC Dallas on your shirt, actually. Tell us a little bit about that experience, just kind of getting to see the MLS from that age.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing my father also in the Premier League. I didn't go to too many of the matches. I was still quite young, but I have some memories of that time. But most of my memories for my father playing football were in Dallas. We always went to the home games. I remember if they won, we got to go in the locker room. That was my favorite part. I got to swim in the hot tub and stuff like this. So those were big things as a young football player. But that was what was the question?
No, you answered it. Yeah. And then this one, Plano Youth Soccer.
Plano
that
Youth
was
Soccer.
it. That was your first
exactly.
club?
So you can see the park we were playing. It was right by our house, and fun times. Yeah, I still remember Coach Randy was his name, and is this one here?
Yeah,
he was our coach, and good times.
That's awesome. So you're used to the heat in Texas?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
and also in Cyprus, it was hot, so I like it. Yeah.
Nice.
So were you born in Finland though?
Yeah, I was. Everywhere it says that I'm born in Scotland, or like my Wikipedia page, everything.
But that's false.
That's
Can we get that edited, please?
Yeah.
So my father was playing in Scotland at the time, but my mother, she went back to Finland to give birth in Finland. So yeah.
So I was in Finland actually last September. I'm good friends with Mikael Forsell.
Oh, okay.
So I stayed with him in his flat over there, and
it's a nice house, huh?
Very nice house. Is he famous over there or what?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely. Yeah.
So we stayed with him. I played with him in Hanover.
Yeah.
And so we got close. He was one of the only players that spoke English. So we were close. I visited him last September. This was like they had like this market over there. They had all the different countries and they had all the different foods and stuff like that. But they also had a lot of reindeer to eat.
Yeah.
Is that pretty common?
Yeah, I think that's like, I don't know if national food, but that's like one of them. And it's
interesting. Yeah.
Reindeer is really
reindeer.
Tasty.
Yeah. And there's some undercover joints, I think, that sell like bear too. Seriously. But anyways.
Yeah. Reindeer is one of my favorite foods. You put this lingonberry jam on it.
Yeah.
And then with like potatoes and like stuff, it's so good. Yeah.
Interesting.
Fingers and mash. All right. So once you went to Finland, you said you got a part of an academy side that you played there with your brothers and all that?
Yeah. Or like my older brother was 2 years older than me, so I didn't play in the same team. And then my younger brother was 4 years younger than me. So we never really played on the same teams, but like the same club. And like it was we had like 1-2 fields and everybody was training at the same place. So it's really like family, like academy. And when I'm back in Finland, I always go watch the games there. And so it's nice. Yeah.
So coming back here, so definitely a different location than you've played in before, but you're being in Dallas. So you're around, again, the academy atmosphere once again. Do you at all try to reach out to the academy kids at all when they're coming through?
Yeah, definitely if like they have some questions or something, because I think every football player, when we were young, we were looking up at the first team, and now obviously we know the situation with the first team players now, and it's big thing for the young players to see the first team. So obviously we have to be a good example for them, how to train and like also the mental aspect of everything. So no, I think it's good. It builds the family, it builds the club, and I think that's like the values that we have here. So yeah, I think it's a really good thing.
That's right.
Do you have a piece of advice from maybe your brothers, your dad, or someone who kind of mentored you when you were in the academy system that still you like keep with you to this day?
That's, I think maybe from my father, he like never really like taught me anything. It was just like how he lived himself, like as a professional athlete, and it's like the only
example.
And it's like the only thing I saw. So I lived basically like my whole youth in a bubble, and I didn't think there was other options than to be a football player. And I just saw how my dad lived, how he ate, how he slept, like really like high professional. So for me, that was always normal. And that's what I do to this day also, because it's the only thing I've known my whole life basically. And so I remember like when I went to school and like some of my friends were like, say they go to bed like at 11 o'clock in the evening. I was like, oh, that's so late. Like my father goes to sleep like 8, 9 o'clock, and that's when we go to sleep. And like it was just different to me. But I enjoyed it. I grateful for like how they brought me up, and so yeah.
Take it a little bit to getting to San Diego. What was kind of like that journey for you, like to getting over to playing for this club?
I've always wanted to come play in the MLS, especially when I saw it when I was young. I thought it was a good league. And then obviously there's been a lot of Finnish players in the league. Also Robert Taylor, Robin Lod, Alex Ring for a long time, Teemu Pukki. So it's been a lot of players. So obviously I've spoken with them also like how it's been, and everybody's just spoken so high of the league. And so it's always a league I've wanted to come. I think it's with the fan engagement and like how all the marketing and everything, like before games, like it's a bigger event. I really like that. And in general, like in America, how all the sports events are marketed, I think it's really nice. And I think a lot of European teams could like take advice from it, like how it's done here. So it's always been attractive to me to come here, and I'm happy now that I've had this opportunity and I've enjoyed it every day.
Yeah, we're definitely glad to have you. When you research teams and clubs that you want to go to because you've played all around the world, is it more so where do you think you'd fit in, or is it more of an opportunity they're looking for someone and you're open to the idea? You just want to try something new out?
Obviously, it depends always. If you're looking for a new team, like the whole project, how it suits you, because you don't want to go to a team that doesn't suit you at all, because then you can't show yourself either. And I think the whole San Diego thing, how the right to dream style of play, how we want to play. The first conversations with Mikey before I came is like, wow, I want to really be part of this. And I'm happy I made that decision to come here. So there is always like the aspect of like the club, and if it's a respected club, if there's like fans and stuff, like all those you take into account when you look for teams. But this has been like all of them combined. So I think it's been like the perfect situation for me.
All right.
And you have none of that too, and you don't know what you're going to come into when you're walking into an expansion team. So being able to see everything kind of come to life, meeting everybody for their first time, seeing all the fans and the support there, what's that been like for you?
It's been massive. All the home games that we've had at Snapdragon, it's been amazing atmosphere. I think because people always say in Europe, like American fans, they're like, how can I say this nicely?
Yeah,
like they don't like respect them in the same way, but like
there's a misperception.
Yeah, exactly. That's the correct word. And I think everybody needs to come to a game in the MLS to see like what it really is like, the atmosphere and how the fans engage with the players and the game. It's really, you can compare it to Europe, like top leagues in Europe, and so that's been really good, and I've enjoyed it, like I said.
And you scored the first game at home at Snapdragon Stadium back in March, and obviously you witnessed that explosion from the crowd of just being able, so excited to celebrate a goal at home. What can you tell us about that moment?
Obviously the goal was a corner, and I just Luca de la Torre put the ball in, and I just saw it fall to my head. And pretty much when they happen, you don't really think too much in the game. You just act on instinct, and that's what I did. I saw the ball coming into the area and just try to get my head in the way, and that's what happened. But obviously, it was nice to score the first home goal. Obviously, we didn't win that game. So if you think about it, like I'd rather not score and we win the game than for me just to score and play 1-1. So, but
you'll be in the history books.
Yeah.
No one
forever.
who won the game, whatever. But it's nice.
But No. And we've scored a lot of goals after that at Snapdragon. So it's always nice to play at home in front of the fans and score goals there. So enjoyed it.
Yeah, you have 2 more at home.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
Probably I would say the first goal.
The first one?
Against Columbus, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of our favorites too. It's sick. Have you found yourself coming into this club, like, I mean, after everyone we've talked to, they all sound like it's very close, like family, and no matter pretty much your playing style, you kind of fit into the system, but you in particular add a lot of excitement in the middle. Like, you know, you're very dynamic. When you go out there on the pitch, are they saying, all right, we want you in there because you give us some life? They go in there, just do your thing, depending on the game, feel it out.
Me personally, I like when there's structure in the team. I think that's when I also play the best. And I think we have a good combination of like structure and freedom. It's like we have the basic principles, what we want to do and how we want to play. But inside those, you can find those little combinations, little movements, because otherwise football would be so easy if you just say like, do this, do this. So there's situations where players have to smell it. And I think the players that we have, I think we suit each other really well. We play really well together. So there's that. It's a good combination of like structure and freedom. I've liked it, enjoyed it a lot. What the coaches have said to me is basically that, like, you know, the principles that we want to do as a team defensively, but like with the ball, use your instinct to find the spaces in between the gaps, find the passes, because those you can't really say on the whiteboard before the game, like this is going to happen. So you have to kind of smell those little moments and how I think it's been good and I've enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
You've played up top a little bit this year too. Would you say centrally midfield is your best position?
I think like I can play 8, 10, false 9. So obviously all those places require a little bit different, but I always try to do what the game asks me to do. So when I've been playing like a false 9, we've had high wingers running behind, and I've been pulling like the center backs into me, and we've tried to find the space in behind and overload the midfield and all this kind of stuff. So it obviously depends a little bit on the position you play, like the small nuances in the game. But in general, I've just enjoyed the play, and it doesn't really matter what position I've been playing.
This must be nice.
Let's take it a little bit off the field now. So we've got a lot of guys on this team that have a good fashion sense and like to wear their match day outfits walking in. I don't know if you know where this is going or not, but we talked to Milan and Chris about their match day outfits, and they brought up you specifically going to Fashion Valley with you and picking out some match day outfits. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the thing is also because I've also played my whole life in Europe, and to the games we always go with the club clothes. Home game, away game, always with the club. So the first few
big no-no in MLS.
Yeah. So the first few games I just put on the San Diego gear. I felt comfortable in it. I don't have to think before the game. And like after 2-3 games, the guys started to tell me like, if you come one more time with San Diego, it's fine. You know? So it was cheaper to go buy clothes than to pay the fine. So we went with Chris. We went to Fashion Valley, picked out a few outfits, and
feeling good?
Yeah,
confident?
It took a time. Like the first times, it was like I was not sure, but after everybody was doing it, I got a few compliments. So got my confidence up. Yeah,
there you go. Obviously, this team is really close. Everyone's coming in from different places to have one same common goal. So that's going to bring the team together. But for you, what's kind of been your favorite moment so far shared with this team?
I think obviously the first game against Galaxy, I think that was a big one. There was a lot of like expectation, or like people didn't really know like where we stand. And I think when we came into that game, we really like planted a foot into the league and like say that we're here basically. And because I feel like we didn't have that respect in the beginning, and we come in and we just play our style, and I think teams respect us now. I think that's a big thing. What else? Also the Galaxy game at home with the 90+ winner. There's been a lot of good moments. It's hard to pick one, and I hope the best moment is still ahead of us. So yeah,
it's a good answer.
That was a good answer.
Shall we move into some fan questions?
Let's do it.
All right. So the fans submitted these. We'll just roll through them. First one, what are your favorite things to do on your day off?
Sleep, rest. No, I think now that my girlfriend is here, for example, we've done a lot of stuff with her, like go walking downtown and stuff like this, go eat in nice places. I've also spent a lot of time with Chris, Anders, Jeppe, and we've been doing stuff together with the family, so that's been also really nice. Been also fishing. That's fun.
Do you go with a group or by yourself when you go fishing?
We've been going by a group.
Oh, nice.
So it was last time we went. It was me, Oscar, Paddy, and Chris, and I caught the biggest fish. So.
Yes.
Where do you guys go?
It was from Mission Bay. We went out with a boat, and
Nice.
we didn't go too deep. It was like 1 mile offshore. So yeah, nice.
What is your favorite restaurant in San Diego so far?
Favorite. I think there's a few good ones. Depends what I kind of want, but Herb and Wood is good next to the office. There's this one ramen place that we went with Chris called Underbelly. That was really nice. It was close. I live close to Little Italy, so I've just been going through the restaurants there. So
it's not a bad spot to go.
Can't go wrong.
Anyone in particular?
Any
Sal, don't do it.
specific Italian place down there?
Sal's family, if you haven't heard on the podcast, previously owns a restaurant there, so we always like to joke about
Barbusa.
that.
If you've ever been.
Lots to mention.
It's like, no, never been that one.
Favorite aspects about San Diego?
I think I like the city vibe, but it's also like chill vibe. So it's like a good mixture. Obviously, I like to live like close to the water. Also, like go walk in the harbor and like on beaches and stuff. But also the weather is really nice. But I think just in general, like the people, like the city, the general vibe, like it's chill.
It's nice that you recognize that early, so early in your, living time here so far.
We've got, who was your favorite coach growing up and why?
I've had a lot of coaches. Obviously, like I said, Coach Randy was my first coach.
That's great.
Then in my boyhood club in Finland, I had this one guy. He was coaching me for 4 years, and I remember we had also sometimes a lot of fights. And when I was a kid, I was just so stubborn. Like I wanted to do things my own way, and I think he guided me in a good way. He helped me a lot, and I think everybody's played a part. Like all my youth coaches, so hard to really single one out. But yeah,
we've got, who's the funniest teammate in the locker room?
I think I'm funny. I think I'm funny, honestly. I think I'm funny. No, I think we have a good group. Jeppe is funny. He's we joke to each other a lot, so that's nice and friendly. Anders is funny also, and yeah, it's a lot of funny guys. So Anibal is also always making jokes. Yeah, a lot of guys.
Nice, good group.
Yeah.
What was it like to get called up for your national team?
Yeah, it was nice. Obviously, I've been called up before, but I got to play the first time in 2 years, so I haven't played. I've been in the squad, but I haven't gone onto the field. So now was like the first time after 2 years I got to get on the field. So that was a really nice experience. It was nice that the games were also in Finland back home, so my family friends could come watch it. It's always nice to represent your own country. When you're a young boy, I think everybody dreams to play for the national team. And I'm just grateful that I've had these opportunities to play. And obviously in the future, I want to play there as much as possible.
No, congratulations and good luck.
The last one we have, you've kind of already answered. It was, what is your favorite Finnish food? So I'm going to switch it and say, tell us something that we might not know about Finland.
What you might not know. Like food or
Fun
just
fact.
in general?
Yeah.
Do you like black licorice?
I like it, yeah.
They're big on black licorice there.
Do you like it?
That's okay. Not my favorite.
And then on Easter, we also have this, it's called Mammi. You can Google it. It doesn't look so appetizing, but it's a 50-50 split. People either love it or hate it. I love it myself. I think Finnish people in general, like also a lot of the teammates and some of the staff have been with Finnish players before, and usually Finnish players are really introvert, and they said that I've like shown like they can be like a funny Finnish guy also, and like who's open and always telling jokes. But obviously, like I said before, I haven't lived my whole life in Finland, so I've lived all around the world. So obviously, I've had to get to know new people all the time in new places. So that's obviously helped me. But I think Finland in general is just, it's really, really calm also. I think people have a good life there. Like it's really, really everything's like taken care of. And in general, it's people have good things going on. And it's always nice to go back home when I have the time. Obviously the saunas, and then the swimming in the ice in the lake and all this stuff.
What I found interesting in Finland. So as you kind of mentioned, a lot of introverts. So if you go on the street, they're kind of they don't want to look you in the eye. Or whatever. And then Mikael has his daughter, and he goes, go pick up food at the grocery store. She's like 9 years old. And she just like goes down there, puts on her coat, and just walks to the grocery store by herself at 9 years old. I'm like, I can't even have my kids go play in the front yard without me worrying about what's going to happen to them. So I just found that really cool. Like in Finland, everybody it's just such a community there and safe. And
I remember the first time when I went to started in second grade in Finland, I was like 8 years old. I went on the bus, like it's a public bus. So I went 45 minutes by myself, just walking through the city.
It's still like that today.
Yeah. So
it's interesting.
I forgot that it's not normal everywhere. So it's like what I grew up with.
Not here. If I sent my daughter at 8 years old on I don't know where she'd end up. Honestly.
That's awesome. That's all the questions that we have for you. Oni, thank you for joining the pod.
It was fun to be here. Thank you guys.
Keep it going.
Thank you.
Thank you. Big news from 18 Threads. New merch is available in-store and at 18threads.com. So whether you're heading to Snapdragon Stadium or just repping SDFC around town, 18 Threads has you covered. Stop by Mission Valley or shop online at 18threads.com. Season tickets for the 2026 season will be available later this month. To secure your spot in line and get benefits such as single match ticket discounts for the remainder of this season, a merch discount, and more, place your initial payment today. Visit sandiegofc.com/memberships for more information. Welcome back. We are joined by assistant coach Frank Hjortebjerg. How's it going?
It's good.
Good.
Very good. Yeah. Good to be back here.
Good to have you back. It's been a while.
Yep. Missed you.
Missed you guys as well.
So there's a lot that's happened since the last time that you've been on the podcast. 3-0 on the road. Wins versus Minnesota, Vancouver, Dallas. We've been chatting a little bit about it, but would love to hear from you, your perspective on just what that result means on the road.
It's massive. I think it's massive. Also because 3 very different games, 3 very different challenges, some very tough opponents that really challenged us in different ways. But we found a way in each and every one of them. So that was great.
What would you say maybe are a few kind of key takeaways coming out of this stretch on the road?
So one of them could be that we managed to find a way because, of course, we try to prepare for the game picture and we try to prepare the guys for whatever challenge it might be. And sometimes we hit it spot on and sometimes things changes or the opponent challenges us back. So it's good to see that we, despite being, like I said, 3 different challenges, that we found a way in each one of them. The last one was not the prettiest one, but the guys kept pushing. And I think as the game progressed, we got it more and more within our hands and more on our own initiative. And then these guys have shown that they are very, very good when the games are closing down. We have a very, very good goal difference from minute 80 and up. We continue to create chances, and the guys continue to believe in the style. So it's not like we suddenly change or go into panic. And I think we benefit from it in a lot of the games that we stay fairly consistent.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it there a little bit, but what does it do for a team to be able to win a game in the 90th plus 6 minutes, to have that kind of a performance?
Yeah, it means that when we say to the guys, the chances will come, they believe us more and more. And when we tell them that we don't have to do drastic changes, they believe us more and more, and they basically just continue on their own now. So it means a lot. It means a lot. And we also know with our style of play that sometimes we need to wear the opponents down a bit more. And it's all about continuing to have that belief. But also, of course, there will be games where we don't get the last goal. There was the early one home game against St. Louis, for example, where we also tried to push, but we were not as good as creating chances, and they defended very, very well. So these moments will happen, of course, but in general, we gotta keep believing in the things we do.
Can you touch on a little bit about like all the different players that have needed to contribute in these games with tons of, some injuries, some international players, but because I know, what it does to a team when you got all, 20 plus guys contributing game in and game out. And so to win 3 games on the road, and even for like guys like, Loffelson and Negri, who, have somewhat taken a backseat and maybe more of a mentorship role to some of these younger outside backs, for them to come in against Dallas and like be a part of getting that job done and getting that win. Like, what does that mean for the locker room? Because again, we've all been a part of some road trips where things go extremely well and everyone's flying high. And I just want to see, in your eyes, what does that mean to the team? What does that mean to you guys? How do you guys see all that, taking place?
But it's so massive, and there are so many unsung heroes in this game, and you guys know better than me that culture is just massive for a locker room.
Oh.
And of course, as a coach, we want to give everybody playing time. Everyone who is good enough and who's training well, we want to give them playing time, but we just cannot do that. Like we gotta manage it, and we gotta put the strongest team out there on the field every time. But now you say it's like a mentor role, and sometimes you got to step into that, but everyone is so bought in at the moment, and everyone knows that despite not playing, or despite not having the headlines, or despite playing 5 minutes in the end, like Ima coming in against the Dallas in a little off position, but he'll do whatever it takes to get the job done, and whatever he can do to help the team. So it's crucial for a culture and for a locker room.
Yeah, you often go, as far as some of those back-end players on your roster, because they ultimately will dictate how the locker room is going to go, in what direction. I remember when I was in Atlanta, the year we won MLS Cup, Tata Martino was our coach, and we had played an Open Cup game, and we had lost against Chicago, and he had shuffled some players up, and it was myself, a few other guys, and he pulled us off to the side and said, "Hey, why are your guys so down, in training?" And, a lot of us, we're disappointed. We got a chance to play and we lost an Open Cup. And he's like, "Hey, I need you 3 especially to be the ones to like keep the energy high in the locker room, because you guys are what's going to dictate, how far we go and everything." And it just kind of got me thinking, like, you can have those guys that aren't playing much, have terrible attitudes, bring bad attitudes to practice, and it can ruin the entire locker room. And so to have these guys from, players 12 to 20, whatever, be bought in and contributing and helping out, like that's going to take you guys so far.
Yeah, for sure. It really is important. And I think also we're one of the teams in MLS who subs the most.
Yeah.
And that says something about the players that we have and the players coming in. But it's also a part that sometimes you might have a bad day, and it's totally fine. It's totally normal. Or the challenge is just not matching up to whatever you can do that day. And it's so normal for everyone. And then it's just next in line. And we got to make sure that when we train that everyone knows how important these trainings is, because in a split second you can get the call up, and then you got to be ready to go.
Yeah, you guys are kind of setting yourself up as coaches for the most difficult decisions, trying to see who's going to start, but also easy decisions, what it means if someone's having a bad day, if someone's off, someone else can come in and replace them almost right away.
Yeah.
So what I was curious about is that when you go up to a place like Vancouver, those be top of the league and all that stuff, is that something that you actually bring to the players, like this is a great opportunity to show ourselves, express ourselves, or do you go in with the mentality of this is just another game, we know what we're about, we know what we can do, and we can do it anywhere, including in the place that's supposed to be, one of the scariest places for an away team to go to?
Yeah. So, of course, we got to have huge respect for Vancouver. Very, very good team. They also showed that against us, that they've been very impressive throughout the season. But we also come there and say, but like Mikey had this in his last talk to the players before we left for the stadium, like, why not? Like, why shouldn't we be able to compete with these guys? You've shown it in all the other games, and we've shown the quality that we have. And we see you guys, new guys coming into the team every day in training, that you're more than ready for this challenge also. So we go there with a huge respect for the opponent always, but we also go there with a strong belief in what we can do. And if we were to lose the game, let's at least lose it by trying to do it in our style, in our way. So there's always small nuances, but we always go there with the same approach that we will have against any opponent coming to Snapdragon. We really try to make it a big thing, because for me, when I arrived here, it was pretty clear that people were speaking a lot about, we also do it now, speaking a lot about these away games, coming on the road,
for sure.
Traveling.
They're big in MLS,
And it's so huge and such a big part of the conversation. And part of us in the coaching staff want to take that and then just curl it up and throw it away, because it's still the same pitch, the goals are still the same. But like, let's not make a big deal out of a thing that's potentially something we're making up. Of course it is something. Of course we got to come to Vancouver and respect that it's only on turf and against a good team that could potentially change their approach because they're at home. But for us, we want to approach it the same way, home or away. We will never create a game plan or a team talk or a mindset before a game where, listen, we are away, so this might be. We'll never do that. Or the other way, we'll never say, we are now at home, so today it's this and this and this.
Right.
For us, it's got to be as much of the same as possible. So we really want to challenge that part in the whole league and the whole conversation here, at least within our group. Listen, let's not make a big deal out of this. Home or away, we are who we are, and we come here to compete.
Yeah, well, put up roadblocks in your own plan, and then if you play
roadblocks, no pun intended.
And also, if you play the exact same way, and then you see what's successful, what isn't, that's where you can work on it. As opposed to, we're going to try something new and different, doesn't work, then like, all right, now what about here? And you just kind of go off on a tangent, and then it goes off wherever. But yeah, thank you.
I'm sure you guys had a long talk with Milan before. I was like, hey, like, is your first start? Why don't you just score 4 goals? That's on the road.
Make it easy, guys.
Like, make a little bit of a statement. Like, can you talk about that? Because when I was watching, I predicted, not to tap myself on the back, but I said Milan was somewhat of our midseason MVP based on, Vartson going down and having all these things and him kind of stepping in, making big goals as subs. And he gets his first start now and he scores 4 goals. Like, what? I don't know. I can't even express in words how amazing that is. I mean, just what are your thoughts on that?
Did you do that as a shooting coach? Is that you? Did you do that?
No, that's got to be Luciano. It's gotta be that's not me. No, but that was crazy. But I actually didn't notice during the game because sometimes I don't notice who scores, and so I'm so into okay, well, what do got to prepare now? But kickoff coming or
typical coach.
Yeah, all these things are flying, so I didn't notice during the game. But of course, huge credit to Milan because he's been pushing, he's been knocking on the door, he's been coming to the coach's office and listening and trying to get some feedback and trying to improve since he came here. And again, it's just another example of a guy who tried to stay ready, tried to be professional, and tried to be a great teammate when he was not called up. And then once he got called up, it's fair to say that he took that one. So, what a story.
His goals per 90 are double the amount than anyone else, I think.
If he can keep that up, I don't think we have to worry about much else.
San Diego is currently leading the league. 41 goals scored, 45 assists. If we would have told you that in the beginning of the year, is that something you would have expected with the style of play, or are just kind of your thoughts on that?
I got to be very cocky if I say yes. I'm totally expecting.
Well, you know what's crazy is when we met as some of the club youth coaches. I'm a part of that, and he spoke to us before the season. And one of the things he mentioned was 100%. We will be the team that is in the opponent's box more than any other team, and that was okay, that's a bold statement to make. So, I mean, if he was predicting that, right? I mean, what does that translate to? Obviously, goals, assists. So I'm guessing your answer is yes.
No, I gotta say yes. Yes, for sure. I had that. I told Mikey to say this, so I had
at least top 5, right?
I had it all planned. No, I don't know if we could say that we expected this, but obviously we know if we get it right, And if we do our stuff on the training pitch well, we know we will create a lot of chances. We know we will be in the opponent's box a lot. And we have also gotten better and better throughout the season to stay there and to pin the opponent more down. Whereas in the beginning, they got out with some dangerous transitions in behind us, and it hurt us also with conceding goals. But now we managed to have a bigger part of that of the game within the opponent's box and within their final third. So it's also a good development for the team that we continue to push these numbers.
Yeah, no, I was kind of to touch on everything, to kind of talk a little bit about the road trip and how it ended. So the Dallas game specifically. So when I watched that game, you could just see, the heat was wearing on the guys, some guys being out injured, some guys playing a lot of minutes. I felt like the game could have gone either way, at least in the last 10 minutes. It was very open, right? There was both teams. It was like two separate games were going on, right? So it just shows time and time. Like I saw Jeppe making that, slide at the end of the game to block that shot, and just all these little moments that led to ultimately San Diego getting a chance again from a guy off the bench. And it's just like, I don't know. It just feels like right now everything is going our way, and it's a product of, everyone believing in themselves and all these things. Can you touch on kind of your thoughts in that second half and what led to ultimately us going our way? Was it a little bit of luck, or did you feel in control of that game?
First half was very poor. First half was one of the worst half we played, at least here in the later part of the season. So we had to make a few changes at halftime, and we didn't manage the game good enough. So the heat suddenly became a factor. And it had something to do both with the intensity that we pressed with, which was not good enough. It was too much just jogging from side to side, and we didn't win the ball back fast enough. And they actually managed to play through us way too much. And they have good players, so credit to them. They also set it up
will
well.
Do that to you, just heat wise.
Yeah, we felt that. Yeah. We felt that, and then also on the ball, we didn't manage to create the overloads in the right areas of the pitch. We ended up giving it away in stupid areas, which was not part of the game plan. So at halftime, we spoke about that, and we tried to make some changes, so we got more back on track in terms of what we have actually planned. And then it became way too open in the end. And I totally agree with you. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But we also saw that during that second half, when we created the overloads in better areas than we did in the first half, we managed to create chances, and we could see it coming more and more. So what we really focused a lot on in the ending of the game was making sure that they didn't force it. Like, we had to keep passing, so we create big enough chances to score. We don't want them to suddenly start putting it in the box too early. We don't want them to just give the ball to Irving and let him go 1v1. So important for us that we stuck to what we believe in, because then we had a very good feeling that we would continue to create chances.
Yeah.
And that feeling grew on us as the half progressed. So we felt fairly okay. When we got the 2-2, we were like, okay, this feels good now. Now we feel like, and then in the end, way too open. Way too open. So we made a slightly adjustment with Oni, keeping him a little lower on the pitch. So we had a bit more balance when we attacked. And then, of course, the guys kept pushing, and then
that's a tough urge to fight, by the way.
Yeah.
That urge to just try to get into the box, like time's wasting down, but you kind of feel the energy, like we can score.
Definitely.
To resist. That's a tough one. I mean, that actually speaks a lot to the mentality of what's going on within the team and how strong mentally they have to be to not be overly excited or too. It doesn't seem like we get down on ourselves, but to be too overly excited and think I can just cross the ball from 35 out and then someone's going to end up in the end of it.
Yeah, because if we just put it in the box early, let's just say take that as an example. If you don't create a shot or a chance from it, it's just, okay, goal kick, time, they set up, okay, maybe they kick it long. Suddenly 2 minutes have passed. And we know that if we can continue to overload where we are good in right areas of the pitch, we will for sure get in the box. We'll get in the box. Mm-hmm. And we have a better chance of creating a chance we can actually score from and actually benefit from. Or if we lose that ball, we know we are close enough to regain it and counterpress and win the ball back. So it's about really managing that. And it is a delicate balance, because also the players coming in on the bench, they want to change the game, they want to show, they want to make a difference. And it's good. We just got to do it without losing too much of the structure.
Yeah, Irving kind of changed the complexion of that game a little bit with his 1v1 ability and his dribbling ability and that type of stuff. I mean, what an opportunistic goal when he was able to carry it up the side, put it out wide, continue his run, finish. I mean, that's just a great play.
It's actually a good example of a guy coming in from the bench, of course, with that mindset. Okay, now I gotta change something. I gotta make an impact. That's all we want. But he went 1-on-1, but then he made that pass through the organization, which is what we look for.
Yeah.
Overload happened on the other side. We had a fullback arriving. We had Anders and Milan close to that. Give us the chance to now break that last line. Milan with a cross under them, and then he arrives in the box. Instead of, for example, him continuing to go on his own, or just staying out wide, staying there, going on his own, or the high cross in the box. So it's a good example of that these guys gotta push and they gotta change the game, but also try to do it within the structure. Yeah.
We're a little bit over halfway through the season so far. Do you have a favorite memory that you've made with this team so far, with this group?
His first pod with us.
What a podcast, man.
Every time.
Walking in the store, sitting here. I have a very personal one, actually.
Yeah.
It's the first one that pops into mind. But that was actually after the first game in Galaxy. Because obviously we played a fairly good game, first real game for the club. A lot of the families traveled. And I'm so lucky and fortunate enough that I'm able to bring my family here to this beautiful city, and they feel part of this project also. And they were there in the stadium, and I have 2 kids, 2 boys, 5 and a 7-year-old, and they were able to jump down from the stands and gave me a big hug. And we were just celebrating, and my wife was also there, of course. And someone from the club took a picture of that hug that I gave to the boys. So that really stands out for me, because obviously they travel here because of me, because of this. So it's like you kind of make a decision as a family to bring your kids, bring your wife, and they all jump in, and I'm so happy that they are proud of this project. But then to have that ending after this preseason, and everyone was questioning us, and we play against the reigning champions away, and big celebration before the game, and they got the cup and all these things and fireworks all over, like there is here in the States, and then we win and playing our style, do it in a good way. Clean sheet. That was a big moment for me on a very personal level.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's gonna be hard to top that one. Got a whole second half of the season too. So
yes.
You've also mentioned too, you've moved over here and you're getting to travel to all these different places, for the first time. What's that experience been like for you?
It's really a big privilege to be part of this, but then on top of that, experience this country. A lot of different cities that we're traveling to. Vancouver was a great place, love that. Seattle, great place. Charlotte, so green, and so you experience so much. And we have a good little tradition in the coaching staff that on the match day we go for a walk, and Fusco is always leading. He has a plan of where to go, and then his GPS tells him elsewhere, and then we end up a third place, and we buy a coffee at a random place, and so it's really, really cool to get. I think it's a big, big privilege that we actually get to travel. We get to see a lot, do it with a great group of guys and girls, and then come back to San Diego, which is not too bad either. So it's I think that I see it as a very big privilege.
Awesome. Well, the team's back home this weekend, looking ahead to Houston.
Yep.
What can you tell us about just being back here and playing another game?
Yeah, of course it's great to be back. Like I said, we don't want to change the approach whether we are on the road or at home. But of course, it's great to be back, and another challenge coming up. We gotta keep pushing. We're in a good state right now. We have given playing time to a lot, almost the entire squad is in there playing now MLS games. Everyone's contributing. We have people coming back from injuries. Soon we will have people coming back from international duties as well. I think Annibal will join us on Thursday from the Gold Cup. So the squad is getting bigger, and that was a big part of it. I think last time I was here was before the Club America game, where we spoke about this, that it was not just a friendly or something to get over it, or not just loading-wise. It was actually a part of making the squad bigger. And some guys have stepped up, so we just want to continue to try to push that.
Awesome. No, it's been fun to watch for sure. I'm excited what the rest of the season looks like. I know, again, I had another kind of This is kind of a different topic, but we had a lot of the club coaches come again last week through like the Youth Club Alliance, and we actually got to meet Carlos Cota. Is that his name? Carlos Cota, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he spoke a little bit about the mental part of the game and how important it is, and how over half the team has gone to him at moments through the season. Like, is that something you guys lean on heavily, more so than you think most clubs? The mental part?
At least here, I think it's happening very deliberately.
Okay.
Very intentional. So we set weekly intentions for the group. The ones that coach will work with individually, he sets intentions for them on a daily training basis. We always have different themes, topics on the mental side that we try to incorporate in the training and leading into the games. Because for us, it's important that what coach is doing as the sports psychologist, as the guy who's overseeing the mental side of things, it's very important for us that it's linked to the style of play, it's linked to the training. So it cannot just be Koto having his own office, sitting there having conversations with the guys. It's got to be linked to what we do, and it's got to be what we believe in. For us to be powerful, it's got to be linked to the upcoming game, the upcoming training, the upcoming challenge, the moment we're in right now. So we try to integrate it as much as possible. So to answer your question, what I feel here is that on a very intentional basis, it's happening every day, from him to Mikey to the talks that we have, and again also what's going on the pitch.
Yeah, one of the big takeaways that I got from what he kind of talked about, and I think that SDFC is implementing like really well, is like, even good or bad, when something happens, you learn from it and then you forget about it and you worry about the next one. And so that's why I think San Diego has been able to get out of a 3-game skid or continue skids, because they keep their highs, central, and their lows central as well. And there's always that middle point that you guys constantly get back to before the next game. And that's something that like I saw, and I'm like, okay, like in a moment right now where everything is probably so high in the locker room, right? You guys have a way of bringing it back down to earth and then going again and going again. And then, right, when things don't go well, you have that same ability. And so that's why I think, you hear about in American sports, like these trap games, right? Like, oh, Houston at home, like we got this one, right? We're coming off a high. But you guys are able to reset mentally and get back to where you need to be to then go 100 miles per hour again. And so you're not going to see such inconsistent performances from this team.
Yeah, at least that's part of the idea.
Yeah.
So, for example, today, this was one of the more critical match reviews that we did this morning with the guys, despite coming off 3 wins on the road.
Yeah.
Because the first half was not how we wanted it to be. There was parts of the game plan that we didn't deliver on good enough in the first half, and we touched on it that it could easily have gone Dallas's way.
Yeah.
Then we managed to do some changes, which is of course good, but the first half was not how we wanted it to be. So no matter the result or not, of course it's good, and we find a way to win and all this, and that's great. But we gotta stay objective, and we know that there's a new challenge coming up, and listen, we haven't done anything yet apart from playing 18 games or something like that, 19, 20 games. So it's all about refocusing is what we say, refocusing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining the show. We've got Houston coming up. It is our Stars and Stripes night presented by Liberty Mutual Housing. We hope to see you there. Kickoff at 7:30 back at Snapdragon Stadium. Thanks so much for joining us, Frank, for our match preview presented by Alaska Airlines. We always appreciate your insight.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.